Hello guys! I just missed my train. What a shame. And now I have to wait 15 minutes to take another one to Frankfurt. And therefore I came to the idea to show you how you can shoot a 4K HDR looking time-lapse with your old camera. I'm using a 5D Mark II, a Canon EOS 5D Mark II for that. But you can use any camera you have. You can use a 5D Mark III, you can use your T2i, you can use a Nikon D5300, I don't care. The only thing you need is that camera, let's say a little tripod, and a remote. And the rest I'm gonna show you right now. So guys, as briefed, here's my old Canon EOS 5D Mark II. I'm using this here with a little Yobi Gorilla Pod. I put a link in the description below, and I might be able to give you a review about this little piece of tripod as well in a while. And on top here's my Canon 8-15mm fisheye lens, but you can use any lens you want. And there's this little magic piece of equipment you need to buy for around 15 euros. If your camera has not such a feature already included. So that's a little remote. I got it on Amazon for 15-16 euros, something like that. And that's basically all you need for the moment. The next thing you need to do is to plug this little remote into your camera and tell it basically how many photos it's going to take in a specific amount of time. It's an intervalometer. So I would say take 100 photos with 2 or 3 seconds in between, and that's all. And I recommend shooting all files in RAW. That's really important, why I will show you later on. So make sure after you set your focus correctly that you deactivate the autofocus, otherwise the intervalometer will always try to focus itself. And let's say if you point your camera towards the sky and there's a cloud moving and the situations are changing, you get some really weird looking time lapses. So make sure you deactivate the autofocus from your lens once you have set the focus correctly.
S1 nach Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. Nächster Halt Waldhof. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links.
So I just arrived at Frankfurt Hauptwache, which is in the center of Frankfurt, and let's see where we have a good location. I went to Frankfurt now to give you some more examples of HDR looking 4K time lapses on the 5D Mark II. I'm currently filming with the 5D Mark IV with the 35mm f2.is USM lens, and I'm going to show you now the settings that I'm using for the HDR shot right now. The job will be done on a 160 f6.3 and ISO 160. And of course you need to play around a little bit with your settings and the interval on the remote as well. Depends also on the situation. So guys, when you're at home you probably know Adobe Lightroom. If not, there's a link in the video description for this program. And as I told you, you better try to get all these photos in RAW just to have more dynamic in your frames. So this program here is available in English and many different other languages, but here's the German version. But it's pretty obvious that all these switches are at the same position. It doesn't matter if you have the English version or the German version. What I'm trying to do now, as you can see, this is one of the RAW files taken with the EOS 5D Mark II. And we want these files to look a little bit more dramatic. What I'm going to do now to give it an HDR, a dramatic look, I'm gonna put in some more contrast. Therefore it turns a little bit more dark. Then I give it a little bit more depth. That looks good. Then it's a little bit bright here, so what I'm gonna do now, I switch down the lights a little bit. If you go to white, which is Weiß in Germany, you go down, see what happens. Say this one here is okay, but not perfect. This one here, Schwarz, is black. So you can play around with this here a little bit as well. Okay. This one here is clarity.
So if you turn up the clarity, it gives even a more dramatic look. So this one here, saturation. Let's put this down a little bit, like this. And then we're gonna go down and set the saturation a little bit more. Let's say a little bit more green, a little bit more blue. And we go to luminosity, blue, put a little bit more down. See the sky, how it's changing. Zoom in just to give you a little bit more details here. See that? Let's do it like this. And green as well for all these trees. You see what's changing. Perfect. Let's leave it like this. And because obviously you don't want to do this with all of these photos, you just hit Command Alpha or Control Alpha if you're a Windows user, and then hit synchronize. And then all of these files are synchronized. Then you go to export. Choose a folder. It doesn't matter where you put it. I don't care at all. Just go on your desk and say HDR. Say OK. Export it in JPEG, please. And here's the image size. Leave it like it is. And if you want a watermark, of course, go for it. But in this case, I don't need one. And then you hit export. And then all these files will be exported. And in the next step, we put all these photos together to a final video. So guys, next thing you need to do is the exported files from Lightroom that you have exported as a JPEG, not as a RAW file, to put them together as a final time lapse. So I have some recommendations. If you're a Windows user, you can go with Panolapse. That's the program that you can use, and you can use the Timelapse Tool Pro, which I have using for many times. It's a really good one. You have so many different options in terms of resolution, export, the codec and everything. So these two programs I can recommend. If you're a Mac user, you go to the App Store and type in time lapse. That's all. And you should get this little program here. It's for free. And here it's called Zeitraffer, which is the German word for time lapse. But this one is for free. And I'm gonna show you how this works now. So this is the program. Simple, choose the folder where all your photos, the exported one, are in. Then you go order by, date, created ascending. Then you go to export, choose the frame rate you want. In this case I'm going to choose 25. Type in the resolution of the final footage, which is 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. Then what I'm gonna do, I will just export it and say HDR1. Let's call it whatever you want. And let's say save. Now this process takes roughly a minute or two, but that's all. And as you can see already, here's the file type, and it's MOV, so it's a video. And I will skip that here for a little while. So then it says done. And there's your final footage. If you press on it and let's say play, there you go, and it's in 4K of course, which looks really good, doesn't it? So that's your final image actually, so the final HDR looking footage, let's call it this way. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed watching this review. I'm going to show you now some more examples, and that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have still any questions, leave me a comment below. See you soon, bye bye.